Welcome back to another TFT video. Today, we're going over TFT Set 12 Magic and Mayhem. All of the units, all of the traits have been leaked on metatft.com, and we are going to go through them as fast as possible so we can all get a good idea of what we're in for on this set. So, here we go. Of course, if you saw the last video that they released yesterday, there is a new set mechanic. There's charms. You can spend gold on these things. They're like wands that are going to float around your character, and they all do different things. So like this one says, if you win the next player combat, gain 10 gold. Costs 2 gold to buy it. Costs 12 gold, summon a 2000 health dragon for 1 round. Obviously, new cosmetics. This is really cool. Interesting changes to the sizes. 1 cost pool size is up, 2 cost pool size is up, and 3 cost pool size, there's 18 units in the 3 cost pool size now. So technically, you are much more likely to get 3 cost 3 stars. It's possible for 2 people to have the same 3 cost 3 star now. That has not been the case for the last 2 sets. It's very annoying to be contested. Anyways, there's 8 5 cost units. Briar, Camille, Diana, Emilio, Morgana, the new guy, or from Legends of Runeterra, this is Nora, Yumi's owner, Smolder, and Xerath. There's 12 4 costs. Fiora, Gwen, Callista, Karma, Nami, Nasus, Olaf, Rakan, Ryze, Tahm Kench, Taric, and Varus. Some old traits are coming back. Some new traits are getting added. There's 13 of everything else. So 13 3 costs, 2 costs, 1 costs. You can see these guys here. Bard, Ez, Heck, Hui, Jinx, Katarina, Mordekaiser, Nico, Shen, Swain, Veigar, Vex, Wukong. The reason I'm not going over these individually is because they added something I'll show you down here a little bit later. Makes it a lot more easier. I think it'll be easier to digest if we just look at the traits. 2 costs, you got Irelia Carry, Cassio, Galio, Cassidon, Kog Ma, Neela, Nunu, Rumble, Shyvana, Syndra, Trist, Zillion. Cool. And 1 costs, Ashe, Blitzcrank, Elise, Jax, Jace, Lilia, Namzi, very fun ad. Poppy, Seraphine, Soraka, Twitch, Warwick, Ziggs, and Zoe. I don't know what the actual total amount of units is, but it's a lot. It's pretty standard. I think in the past there's been about that size of units. Usually sometimes there's 13 4 costs, sometimes there's 12 4 costs, this time there's 12. And our first trait is Arcana. Use the Arcana signifier item to choose a high Arcana champion. Each Arcana grants power based on a different condition. Ahri, fielding 3-star champions. Hecarim, equipping items. Tahm Kench, activating traits. Xerath, purchasing charms, or the emblem, equipping emblems. Arcana, so we've got Ahri, fire an orb, dealing magic damage. After hitting an enemy, it returns dealing true damage. Hecarim, passive, after taking down the current target, his next target, he can dash to them, basically. And for the next 6 seconds, cleave adjacent enemies. Tahm Kench, dive underground towards the closest enemy, sending out a shockwave towards the furthest enemy, dealing damage based on your AP and your health, and stunning based on your star level. Then there's Xerath, which is like old Xerath. Basically, 120 mana to cast, but once he starts casting, he just shoots 10 arcane blasts at random enemies, dealing a ton of damage. Huge AP scaling. 2-star Xerath's going to absolutely dump. He is Ascendant and Arcana, so you want to buy a bunch of charms, get Xerath down. He gets powered up. I think it just gives them different abilities, or like empowered abilities or something. This is his Ascendant. This is his unique trait for being a 5-star, or a 5 cost, I mean. Ascendant charms appear in your shop. Odds increase by 10% after player combat, up to 50%. Reset by purchasing. So that's only Xerath. Very unique trait. And then we have Bastion. Bastion is a returning thing. It's like Sentinels in previous sets. Bastion's a different one. Except when you field 8 Bastions, you get the Armor and MR, and 2 champions in the back row are invulnerable until 4 bastions die. Holy frick. That is a trait chase if I've ever seen it. Are there 8 bastions though? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's not. So you're going to need an emblem to hit 8 bastions. Yep. We're going over the new stuff. That's right. And we're also streaming this on Twitch while we're reviewing this stuff. So, hi chat. Hi YouTube. Hi Twitch. Bastions are going to be Lilia, frontliner, heal then deal damage, Poppy, frontliner, gain a shield then deal damage, Nunu, frontliner, bite, dealing damage and healing and chilling, Hecarim we already saw, Shen, gain damage reduction, creating ruptures to the closest enemies and stunning, so Shen, premium frontliner once again. Taric we saw in the video ascends for 4 seconds, attracting enemies and projectiles, then releasing a Nova, dealing a bunch of magic damage in a hex range. Climb from the bottom of bronze to silver 3 for watching my videos and just playing. Hey, you're welcome. Nice. I'm glad I could help. And then Diana, our 5-cost bastion premium tank guy. Dash within 2 hexes to hit the most enemies possible, healing for a certain amount. Excess healing becomes a shield, then deal a bunch of damage, and then a bunch of damage again. Cool. Bat Queen. That's Morgana's unique 5-cost trait. When Morgana's bats kill an enemy, they have a 45% chance to abduct a 1-star copy of it. Also, we know that it has a chance to steal people's items at the same time. So Morgana going to be a great econ guy at the end. Best friends, this is the unique trait for Nora. Basically, she summons Yuumi, and Yuumi gives ability power and shields and stuff until Nora dies. Nora's ability, launch a ball at the current target that explodes for magic damage and colors the area. Colors deal magic damage per second. If the ball lands in an area that's already colored, it will bounce to a new location before exploding. That's pretty cool. What's up, Bonk? Blasters. Blasters is a reoccurring trait. It's back once again. Blasters gain damage amp, which increases for 3 seconds after casting their ability. Okay, so blasters are different than it was before, right? Blasters used to be like extra projectiles or something weird like that. But that's pretty neat. So 8% on their damage amp and then increase to 25% for 3 seconds after their ability goes off. Rumble being our first guy. Gain damage reduction and create a cone of flames over the next duration and wounding enemies for 5 seconds. So he does his empowered ability during the blaster cast. That's pretty cool. Blasters, no 1 costs, only 2 costs, 3 costs, 4 costs, 5 costs. So potentially like a little 2 blaster start could be really OP. Tristana, backline blaster. Fires cannonball, dealing physical damage to the first enemy hit, knocked back and stunned if they are close to Tristana. So she has self-peel. That's an interesting mechanic that we have not seen too much of in TFT, peeling. And then Ezreal, I don't know why everybody has like the Janna E as their ability icon, but I'm sure that'll get fixed once it goes live. Ezreal dashes and then deals a blast in a line. I don't really like champions that can blink or dash because I feel like all the time they just blink into danger even when they're not supposed to, but whatever. Hui getting demoted from a 5-cost last set to a 3-cost this set. Except this time, paint a lightning bolt, striking the target a moment later than the lightning bolt strikes, dealing magic damage to the target and in an area around them. Every 3rd cast, extra 2 bolts to the lowest percent health enemies. Aha. So you can execute. And then Varus, a premium 4-cost carry. Fire a supernova at the largest clump of enemies within attack range +1 hexes that deals physical damage to the target. Also has a magic scaling, probably not a lot one. Not a big one, but definitely a little bit. And adjacent enemies exploding into a cluster of fireballs, dealing damage again. Kind of neat, kind of cool. And then, of course, there's Smolder. Smolder flies around and attacks the nearest enemy. And then, after casting his ability at 100 mana, gain attack speed and replace attacks with fireballs to deal extra damage for a couple of seconds. And then, when we'll get later, dragon upgrades are an interesting thing too. Chronos we saw in the video. Chronos begin a 16-second countdown which is sped up by 1 second after every chrono ability cast. At the end of a countdown, gain a special effect. 2 chrono breakpoint, gain health, gain more ability power after the 16 seconds. 4 adds a freeze for 2.5, so more ability power, more a big stun. And then at 6, you get attack speed and you get all of your health back. That's pretty cool. 1 cost and a 2 cost, so you can play 2 chronos pretty quick. Gonna play a Jax, which is deal damage to adjacent enemies, gain armor and MR for 6 seconds during this time, attack, steal, bonus magic damage. That's the same thing as Jax right now, except your attack, steal, bonus damage, which is kind of cool. Zillion, place a bomb on the target, dealing magic damage and stunning when the bomb explodes, or when the stun ends or the target dies, the bomb explodes, dealing damage and damage to adjacent enemies. Vex gains a shield, so she's a frontliner. Increased by 5% for each enemy targeting Vex, a solo frontliner. When it expires, deal magic damage. Gonna be interesting, kind of like Diana this set, where you kind of like wanted her to be a carry, but she never really was. Maybe at the beginning you can play carry Vex for a second. Who knows? Karma. Attach a temporal rift to the target, and the closest unaffected enemy deals damage over 8 seconds. Reset the duration of all other rifts on the enemies. If they die while affected, explodes into stardust, healing adjacent allies for 8% max health. Seems like a frontliner. Not really sure. Incanter seems like maybe that'll be a multiplier, like a mage has been in the past. And maybe mage is just a ability power modifier. And then Camille, a premium 5 cost carry. On target death, hookshot to the lowest health enemy within 3 hexes, dealing tons of damage. After the next attack deals true damage. Oh wow, this is just like her passive. So the active knocks back and stuns adjacent targets, dealing damage. Creates a containment zone for 4 seconds. Gain durability and attack damage while in the zone. Durability being damage reduction or what? We'll never know until it comes out. Namzi. Dragons deal burning and wounding, or 3 dragons upgrades the power. Sneeze, dealing physical damage. Instead, sneeze in a larger area, dealing more physical damage. Shyvana, transform into a dragon, so shapeshifter. Gain an aura that deals damage around her. We love Namzi. We love Namzi. Then fly through the largest group of enemies within 2 hexes and stun them. So frontliner dragon, shapeshifter girl. While in dragon form, heal 1% for max health for every burning enemy. And then Smolders upgrades the fireball to heal him. Petition for 2D skin for Yuumi. Dude, actually Black Cat Yuumi on the Witches set? How could they not? Wukong does not have a trait bonus, but instead has a powerful ability and increased stats. So like, what was that trait called back then? Terror? Void? Threat. Like a threat trait, but only for Wukong apparently. So Wukong, standalone unit, just throw in the Wukong, you get a frontliner that deals a stun and a damage. Gain bonus armor and MR, spin for 4 seconds, dealing a bunch of damage based on your armor and MR. Pretty cool. Eldritch. When your team loses 20% of their health, an old god awakens. It gains 25% health and 10% ability power for each Eldritch star level. Our summon trait. 1 is Golem. 2 is Dark Monolith, which is what? 3 is Many-Eyed Starry Beast. The Many-Eyed Beast, sorry. That's Volibear, right? And then 10 is Stormbreaker, which is bigger Volibear. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Eldritch, so you can play Vertical Eldritch if you wanted to. Ashe being number 1. It's basically the old set. Kind of. For the 5 seconds, Ashe fires an extra missile to the target near Ashe. This affects stacks, so you can do this. Oh, they also added a... Let's go back up here real quick so we can talk about some of the quality of life changes that I missed. Mana now overflows, less reliant on BIS. So if you get hit too many times, or like you're never going to get mana locked on any characters anymore, so it makes more sense. You can always just stack mana items on certain characters and they will cast their abilities more often. Elise transforms into a spider, stunning a target, dealing damage based on AP and health. Neela gains attack speed based on a shield, dashes and deals damage, then gains a shield. So shield self gains attack speed. Pretty cool. Interested in what Melio does? He's coming up. He's very close. Mordekaiser gain a shield that decays, slamming, dealing damage. Nami, bubble that deals damage to the largest group of enemies. Every third cast, summon Leviathan instead, which stuns and deals magic damage to enemies in a line. Briar, we know, leap to largest clump of enemies, dealing damage, stunning, entering a frenzy, gaining attack speed, omnivamp, and bonus damage. And then if you're already empowered, then you get a bigger attack every time you cast. 80 mana. You can also feed her health. I'm sure we'll find that out later. And fairies. Fairies is the new item creator, I think. Right? Yeah. Fairies gain health and create special items that become stronger with trait tiers. Choose a queen with the fairy crown, which grants damage amp. Choose a loyal guard with the glamored armor, which grants healing based on the queen's damage. That's kind of cool. So you fairy crown them. 100 health per to each of your units. Crown gives 25% bonus. Crown gives 30%. More armor, 40% bonus, 75 armor. And armor becomes radiant. 1000 health to all of your fairy units at 9 breakpoint. Another trait chase, I think there's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you only need 2 spats. And you get to hit Fairy 9, which isn't going to be broken, but if you can hit 2 spats, it's something worth chasing. Lilia, we already know. Seraphine, fire a sound wave, dealing damage and reducing their damage. Oh no, dealing reduced damage for each enemy hit. Gotcha. Tristana, we already know. Katarina, blink to the largest group of enemies, dealing magic damage over 3 seconds to enemies within 2 hexes, wounding them. Then they take, the nearest 2 enemies take extra magic damage. If she kills an enemy, blink and reposition again. Kind of cool. Rakan, oh no, this is Callista. Kind of looks like Rakan does. Whoops. Passive attacks embed a spear, and every 3 attacks embed a spear into enemies. Leap to safety, dealing damage for each of their embedded spears. Rakan, gain a shield, shoot 8 feathers in a wide cone, dealing damage, granting them a shield, granting allies a shield for 4 seconds. Melio, another 5-cost carry, does not have a unique trait. Fairy Scholar. Throw 2 completed items to allies with open slots. So, kind of like Ornn. If an ally has no room, they instead gain damage amp for the rest of combat. Then, throw 3 knickknacks at enemies, dealing magic damage. Occasionally, find something special in his backpack. Something special. What could that possibly be? Oh boy, this video is getting long already. Frost champions gain ability power and attack damage. The first few enemies to die become allied ice soldiers, which lure enemies' attack if they are within range. He's like Dora the Explorer. Yeah, back. Dude, you never know. He just pulls out an entire TFT army, wins you the fight automatically. Frost, same thing. 9 breakpoint, 7 champions. Could trait chase, couple of emblems you get there. 3 emblem traits. Chasers always win you the game automatically. 2 emblem trait chasers like Ghostly last set are really good, but don't automatically win you every single fight. Frost, breakpoints, 1 soldier, 2 soldier, 3 soldiers, and explosion, and 4 soldiers plus explosion. New unit Twitch, fire shot or ice, piercing, dealing damage, reduce damage, targets are sundered for 5 seconds, sunders reduces armor. Warwick, permanently gain percent attack speed and movement speed for each enemy killed. Cool. I'm sure there's a Warwick hero augment then. Attacks heal and deal bonus damage. Gain double the healing and physical damage for targets below 25%. No active ability, only passive. Zillion we know is a bomb and a stun. Hui we know is a targeted lightning strike. Swain, shapeshifter, transform, gaining max health based on AP while transformed, dealing magic damage every 2 seconds, just like his ult in League of Legends if you play that game. Cringe. If already transformed, gain additional max health and increase the damage by a certain amount. Yeah. Modern Warfare Emilio pulls a gun out of his bag. Frick. Olaf, passive every 4 attacks, and when changing targets, leap, dealing bonus damage to adjacent enemies and current target. And for the next 5 seconds, gain attack speed and omnivamp and crowd control immunity. Diana, we already know. Dashes, does damage. Honeymancer, new trait. Honeymancers gain bees. Bees deal damage every 3 seconds. Bees deal 8% of the targets, 8% of the Honeymancer's damage dealt, and 2.5% of their damage taken. So, 5 Honeymancer champions, 7 trade chase, 2 emblems to go for 7, extra bees. Bees crank, gets a shield. Ziggs throws a bomb. Kog Ma launches honey through targets, dealing damage, and are set a buzz. Allies gain attack speed for 4 seconds. Nunu bites heals, yep, and then Veigar. So very low cost, very, very low cost. So you can throw Honeymancers in early, get a little small advantage going, and I bet you towards the end of the fight, those bees start really cooking up damage. Passive, gain ability power for each charm you buy. Kinda cool. And active, deal magic damage to targets. So Veigar, potentially really cool carry. Honeymancer plus mage. Not sure how you feel about bees. I think it's going to be cool. Oh, like punk reroll? Probably. Hunters gain attack damage increased for the first time they get a takedown each combat. Hunter Namzi. So Namzi gets bonus attack damage. Twitch gets bonus attack damage. Kog Ma. Jinx, new unit. For 4 seconds, gain decaying attack speed and her attacks deal bonus true damage. Takedowns refresh this effect for 3 seconds. There's 5 hunters, so hunter plus 1. There's a lot of plus 1s in this, so maybe we're gonna go back to getting do you remember before there were spatulas, there were like crowns, but like without the tacticians, like without the spatula component, it would just automatically give you a plus 1. I feel like it might be that again. We'll see. There's some traits down below. We can look at those. Incanter gains ability power, gains stacking ability power. Every other attack grants 1 stack. Abilities grant 3 stacks. Okay, so no duplicating, no multicasters, but they do juice each other up like Hearts did previously. Cassio, new unit. For 6 seconds, attacks deal bonus magic damage. So she's an attack speed, like Bard was this set. Attack speed mage. Syndra, conjure a rift that deals magic damage and shreds. This ability upgrades the more it's cast. Total casts. After 15 casts, targets are shredded and take more magic damage. After 30 casts, for every 30 casts, create an additional rift that deals 33% damage. 60 mana. So Spear Sojin carry, kind of interesting. Karma, we already know, attaches stuff. 30 mana for 8 seconds, dealing damage over time, and healing your allies if they die. Mages cast their ability twice. Ah, I see. And modified total ability power. So a mage does not have 100 ability power to start. Only until you reach 7 mages do they get their full ability power potential. So if you're going to play carry Veigar, you're going to have to play at least 5 mages. Otherwise, his stacking ability power from buying charms is not going to be quite as effective. So maybe you don't even play B Veigar, you play regular Veigar. Our mages are Seraphine, who sends a sound wave, yeah. Soraka, call down a star, dealing damage and healing adjacent allies. Cool. Ooh. Galio, reduce incoming damage, fire 2 magic bolts, dealing damage within 3 hexes. Each missile deals magic damage and stuns for a couple seconds. Veigar we know, Vex we know, Nami we know, Nora we know. Does the painting floor thing, yeah. Multi-striker. Multi-strikers attack have a chance to trigger 2 additional attacks. This is what I thought Blaster was going to be. But looks like there's mages and attack damage guys, which is kind of cool. More traits and characters seem to be a lot more choices. Going to be a nightmare to hit the characters you need to get the pool so saturated. I think that's a pretty traditional pool. I think the pool size is pretty normal. I think this is a pretty standard TFT pool size actually. There definitely seems like there's more traits though. I did not count. Ashe we know does damage. Jax we know. Akali, dash to the farthest enemy. Next 3 attacks launch kunai. Kassadin, deal magic damage, gain a shield. For the rest of combat, attacks deal bonus magic damage. Hecarim cleaves. Callista rends. Camille creates the zone. Jace transform into hammer form, gaining armor and MR. And get hammer slam, dealing physical damage. So he starts out as a ranged unit, transforms into a melee unit. Sorry, portal units. Portal champions shield for 15 seconds. Objects from other dimensions fly out of a portal every few seconds and help allies and disrupt enemies. Portal becomes 8% stronger for each portal champion star level. 2 reroll comps. 2 reroll comps. A bit late. Anything you're interested in already? This has been the coolest thing so far for sure. Get ready for the Akali reroll. Yeah, definitely. There's going to be a lot of fun reroll comps. It seems like there's some good units. Veigar already was pretty cool. The bees could be fun. Portal now is also reroll. If you hit 10, you get a Giga Portal. There's 8, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you only need 2 emblems. So not a game winner, but definitely still a lot of fun. Zoe deals magic damage and reduces their magic resist for the rest of combat. So Zoe could be a really good, what's that one that's Teemo's using? Blighted Jewel Carry. Since she's already reducing their magic resist, she can do it even more, cast even more. Reduce incoming damage, oh yeah, that's Galio. Kassadin, Ezreal, Rise. Okay, opens portals that deal magic damage, bolts split between the 4 closest enemies, dealing magic damage, blah blah blah. Taric ascends, Nora sends out the thing. Okay, looks like we're getting through most of the units. We've seen most of these guys already, so it's mostly just the traits from here on out. Preserver has the Invoker emblem. Your team heals for a percentage of their max health every 3 seconds. If their full health, restore manas instead. Preservers gain double the amount. 3%, 6%, up to 15. There's only 4, so you need a +1. Zillion we know. Bard. Throw a magic missile at the target that bounces 4 times between enemies, dealing magic damage to enemies hit. They also take 10% more damage for 3 seconds. Rakan, shields, yeah. Morgana sends out swarms of bats. They seek out 4 closest enemies, dealing damage. Bats deal true damage to enemies below 25% health, so that we can get those extra units that Morgana can steal. Pyro, stacking attack speed, gain more attack speed, and execute enemies under 15% health. For each kill, Pyro champs create an Infernal Cinder that you collect the next round. For 4 cinders, your team gains +1% more attack speed. Kinda cool. Nasus is the one we haven't seen yet, right? Oh, Shen? Oh yeah, damage reduction. Okay, Nasus, steal health, split between nearest 3, 4, 10 enemies. Each cast heals and deals physical damage to the target instead, based on max HP. Varus shoots supernovas. We saw that already. I already forgot. What does it do? Physical damage. Explodes in a cluster of fireballs. Oh yeah. Okay. Briar gains damage amp for player health missing. Each round, gain a light snack to give her 150 health in exchange for 3 of your player health. Cool. So I was thinking about that. You can give Briar health to give her player health to make her unit health bigger, but you can only do it once per round. I was thinking maybe you could just buy her and immediately do it like 5 times and just win the game for free. That's a great way to balance that. Relic. This is Melio's unique trait, it seems. Is that correct? He's not showing up down here, but after combat, Melio has a 40, 60, 100% chance to convert a temporary relic component into a real component. That's interesting. Scholars gain bonus mana on attack. At the 4 scholar breakpoint, you gain 5 mana. That's usually where you want to sit at. The Zoe reroll could be interesting. Ari fires the orb, comes back. Bard does the bouncy bounce. Rise opens portals. Melio throws completed items and does a little bit of damage. Shapeshifters gain bonus max health after their ability cast. They triple this effect. Interesting. There's 7 shapeshifters. You need 1 + 1 to hit 8. At least we saw stuns. Jace's hammer form. Shyvana turns into a big dragon. Nico transform into a crab for 2 seconds. Over the duration, regenerate 18% health and release Scuttle Blast at 3 nearby enemies and 3 nearby allies. Allies are healed, enemies take damage, and they're stunned. Swain turns into Swain form, Nasus turns into Big Nasus, and Briar turns into Frenzy form. Sugar Craft. This one's a new trait. Very interesting. We're getting down to the wire. We're almost here. We almost made it to the end. 30-minute video. Sorry. Bear with me. Sugar Crafters build a layer cake. They gain attack damage and ability power, increased by 10% for each cake layer. When the cake has reached 7 layers, get treats instead. I wonder what the traits do. Or the treats do. Soraka Starfall, Rumble, Fire, Bard, Bounce, Jinx, True Damage, Gwen. Dash and Snip twice. Every 2 casts gain a Snip Stack. The first and last snip deal damage, and other snips deal extra damage. Okay. Vanguard, 10% durability while shielded. Gain 50% health, and a shield for max health. Blitzcrank gives a shield. Warwick has the percent damage. Rumble, Fire. Mordekaiser, Shield, Slam. Tom Kench, Dash, and Earthquake. Warriors gain Omnivamp and Damage Amp. When they drop below 40% health, they get more. Akali, Dash, and Damage. Neela, Dash, and Attack Speed, and Shield, and Katarina, damage over time to close enemies. Fiora, Witchcraft Warrior. Leap backwards, gaining durability, then sweep through the most enemies possible, dealing damage to each one, plus damage split between all enemies hit. That's cool. Lots of damage. Passive, every 2 casts, gain a snips. Now, yeah, it gets Gwen again. And by now we've seen every single unit. So Witchcraft, last trait. Which abilities apply a curse to enemies for 4 seconds? When a cursed enemy dies, the curse spreads to a nearest enemy. Curses become smaller, losing 200% of their max health. Healing the lowest health witch for 15% of their damage taken. Adds bonus damage to all witches. And become a frog for 2 seconds every 8 seconds. All other curses are increased by 50%. That's an 8 trait chase, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so only 2. So I don't think there were that many 3 emblem trait chases, if there are any at all. Poppy, shield and damage. Zoe, low Cost Reroll. Cassio, attack speed, mage. Nico, frontline transformer, stunner. Fiora, potential crazy carry. And Morgana, who can steal us a bunch of stuff. So 6 is pretty normal. 8 turns them into frogs, which is probably going to be really broken. This video is already 32 minutes long. I think maybe we'll just do a second video for charms, and that will be the thing that comes out tomorrow, and then we can start uploading videos. So I'm happy that you guys got to go through that all with me. If you have any questions, comment in the comment section. I'll probably send a link to this in the description below, but until then, I will see you guys later.
I think I love you again. I think I love you again.